talk about true intimacy and why do we fear it? True intimacy can be in any relationship, but most people, when they hear the word intimacy, they immediately think of sex. Of course, sex is a aspect of being intimate with another. I'm expressing intimacy in all of our relationships between a parent and child, a friend, a family member, husband and wife, or partner. Intimacy is about truly hearing, feeling, seeing, and fully understanding the other person and accept them for who they truly are. Therefore, ourselves being accepted for who we truly are. So why do we fear intimacy so much? Usually it stems from childhood. We weren't seen, we weren't heard, we weren't accepted, we weren't tolerated, our emotions were denied. Or in our past when we shared our deepest feelings with somebody that we loved that was close to us. We shared our deepest feelings, our desires, our weaknesses, our insecurities. We could have been met with judgment, unacceptance, even abandonment. Or what we shared about ourselves on the deepest level was later on used against us as leverage or some type of control by the person that we trusted and loved. Therefore, we end up not being able to be vulnerable. We have a great fear of vulnerability now. But being vulnerable is the only way to truly experience an intimate relationship. When we are born, we desperately need to feel closeness and connectedness with our parents or caregivers. But when we lacked intimacy in childhood, for our parents dismissed our need of closeness and connectedness, or we felt shame for this need. Here is where our parents express that where our emotions, our needs, our wants, our desires, we're not going to be tolerated or accepted. What happened is our parents or caregivers perceived our emotions, our thoughts, even our reality as a challenge because they couldn't deal with their own intimacy issues that they had. Here's an example. In my home where I grew up, our emotions were not accepted at all. Whenever one of us was truly upset, crying, our father would scream, "Get the hell out of here with that," and our mother would just turn her back on us because she was in a state of disassociation from her own feelings, from her own emotions, from years of abuse. So we didn't have that connectedness. We didn't feel connectedness. We didn't feel closeness with our parents. We end up living our life in a negative pattern. We put up a wall or a bubble around us where we don't connect with others, for we feel that we're going to be hurt again. We may be doing this consciously or subconsciously. For those parts of ourself we have suppressed, denied, disowned, and pushed down and pushed away since childhood. Feeling closeness is one of our deepest needs. And when we dismiss our own needs, we also dismiss the needs of others around us. I had intimacy issues on every level, stemming from childhood and stemming from past relationships. Let me give you an example that I had complete unawareness about what I was actually doing. My daughter, my oldest daughter, when she was about 13, we were in an argument about something. I don't remember what it was, not important. But all of a sudden, she looked dead in my face and screamed at me. And she said, "You don't even know me." That hit me so hard Because why did it hit me so hard? Because she was 100% correct. She always had bouts of being very emotional, whether she was playing with her siblings or anything that was going on in our lives. She would be very emotional. She would cry out. And my other kids weren't doing it. And as for myself, I just thought she was throwing another fit. She was just being emotional again. And I didn't treat her the way I was treated, but the way I treated her by dismissing her feelings, her emotions, how she was feeling, what she was going through. When I dismissed it as just being, oh, she's throwing another fit because she's not getting her own way, not realizing how much pain that I was putting on my daughter, how much emotional pain that I was making her feel. Even though it was completely on a subconscious level on my behalf, she was 100% right. And when she said that to me that day, it slapped me right in the face. And I acknowledged, like, I was awakened right in that moment when she said that to, oh my gosh, she is so right. She's 100% right. I don't know her on an intimate level. I don't know my daughter's emotions. I don't know her wants and needs. I don't know her thoughts, how she's feeling. Because why? I just assumed she was throwing a fit. She was throwing another tantrum. I never got down to her level and said, baby, what are you feeling? Why are you upset? How do you feel inside? That's what I should have been doing with my daughter. But instead, I was dismissing her reality. I was dismissing her emotions. I was dismissing her thoughts and feelings, her needs. That was a big day for me. That opened my eyes. It was a awakening that I needed, and I wish it would have happened years before that, but it didn't. It happened when it was supposed to. And I'm so grateful and thankful to my daughter for saying to me what she did, because I woke my ass up that I was in the same way, because not in the exact same way of how I was treated as a child by my emotions and everything getting blown off, but I was blowing off hers. I didn't scream at her, I didn't yell at her, I didn't punish her, but what I was doing was just as painful as what I went through. I was hurting her just as bad as I was hurt. And to me, that was completely unacceptable. And for years, I tried to get close to her. And I tried to. But by then, she was so angry with me that every time we got together, we fought. Every time we got together, we fought. Until a few years back, I invited my daughter over and I asked her to sit down with me, that I needed to talk to her. It was so important that I needed to talk to her. I expressed to her how I expressed to her, I'm sorry. I expressed to her how sorry I was and how wrong I was. How I was so sorry for how much pain that I had caused her. And in her, as she grew up as an adult, as she grew up into adulthood, she also had intimacy problems. But I expressed to my daughter how much that I loved her and how sorry that I was for what I had done, how I had dismissed her feelings, how I dismissed her emotions, how I wasn't there for her. And today we have a much better relationship. But if it wasn't for my own intimacy issues, my own emotional pain that wasn't healed, I would have never done that to my daughter. I was so wrapped up in my own bullshit that I couldn't see what I was doing to my own daughter. And I am so grateful and thankful to her. And I am so grateful and thankful to her for what she said to me that day. For she had helped me awaken to be who I am today. But all my intimacy problems didn't just stem from my childhood. I had two very, very close friends that I grew up with. We went to school together, we did everything together. Even our teachers called us the Three Musketeers throughout school. I lost both of my friends in their early 20s. One died in a motorcycle accident, and my other friend was pregnant with twins, and they actually had rats in their wells, and she had one kidney. She was drinking the water and didn't know she'd become septic. She lost the twins one day, and she died the next day. I didn't allow myself to get close to anybody again. I have tons of acquaintances, but I haven't really ever got close to another friend like that where we hung out, where we were two peas in a pod, or us three peas in a pod. So my grief from losing two best friends really shattered my intimacy. And then also I had past relationships. One in particular where I shared something very, very, very painful that I went through about myself. And I truly trusted this person, which they turned around and threw it back in my face at their convenience whenever they were drunk and whatnot, because they were dealing with so much of their own emotional pain that they, had to hurt somebody else. So it was me at their expense. But all these factors between childhood, losing my best friends, and being intimate and vulnerable in a partnership where it got thrown back in my face was very, very emotionally painful. So I had many intimacy problems, and it took me a long time to be able to be intimate again, to trust others with me being my true self, not be afraid of judgment and be insecure and worry about how if I'm going to be unaccepted for who I truly am. To truly find out where your intimacy issues come from, we have to go within. Like everything else we want to heal, we have to go within and we have to face these emotions, the pain, the unacceptance, everything that we've pushed down and disowned and denied about ourselves. We have to go in and feel it, see it fully in order to heal. Please heal your emotional pain and your trauma. Don't let your past experiences from childhood or past partners or friendships, don't let that take your vulnerability away. We have to be able to open our hearts and be vulnerable, to have an intimate relationship. Whether it's a friend, family members, parents, children, our partners, husband, wife. We all want to be accepted for who we truly are and not from our past emotional pain. It's very hard to open your heart again and to trust, but it's the only way. It's the only way to experience a true intimate relationship with no matter who it is. Much love, Lisa.